Let's get straight into it. Jenkins has once again proven that being a father is the last thing on his mind. Even after being dragged to court and forced to get a job just to pay child support, he's still choosing laziness, selfishness, and convenience over his kids. And it's starting to look less like neglect and more like a deliberate pattern. Court didn't ask, it ordered. After 8 long months of doing absolutely nothing to support his children, Jenkins finally reached a point where the court had to step in and force him to act. And let's be honest, this wasn't some gentle reminder or concern check-in. No, it was a full-on final warning. The court gave him 2 options. Either start paying child support to Alita, the mother of his oldest son, or go straight to jail. Period. This ultimatum didn't come out of nowhere. It followed Drew skipping out on yet another court date like it was no big deal. He was found in contempt for not paying what he legally owed. And when questioned, Drew pulled out the same tired playbook, claiming a long list of health problems, seizures, high blood pressure, pre-diabetes. Things like that, if true, would deserve compassion. But the timing and the pattern made it obvious. These weren't legitimate reasons. They were excuses, plain and simple. The judge wasn't fooled. And let's be real, neither was anyone watching from the sidelines. The court was crystal clear. Stephanie's income couldn't and wouldn't be used to cover Drew's financial responsibilities. He couldn't keep hiding behind her. If he wanted to avoid jail, he had to get up and make his own money. Not just for his sake, but for the sake of his child, who had been left without support for years. But even after the court laid it out clearly, Drew still didn't treat the situation with urgency he demanded. Instead of stepping up as a father, he treated the entire order like it was a school assignment he could turn in late, as long as he did the bare minimum. He didn't see it as an opportunity to make things right or do better for his son. He saw it as a nuisance, something he had to check off his list to avoid consequences, not to take care of his child. And that tells you everything you need to know about his priorities. A gig, not a job. What did Drew do when the court finally pushed him to step up? Did he go out and apply for a stable, full-time W-2 job? Something with consistent hours, a steady paycheck, and maybe even benefits? Something that could actually help change his family situation? No, not even close. Instead, he signed up to do DoorDash. Now let's be fair. There is absolutely nothing wrong with DoorDash. Tons of hardworking people hustle every day delivering food to make ends meet. But the difference is they treat it seriously. They put real hours. They grind. They commit to making money, not just for themselves, but to support their families. But Drew treats DoorDash like it's a casual hobby. He works maybe 3 hours a day, and not even every day, just when he feels like it. He's not out there putting 10 hours a day, grinding to lift his kids out of that motel. He's doing the absolute bare minimum, just so that he doesn't end up behind bars. It's not about building a better life. It's not about helping Stephanie buy groceries or pay for new shoes or cover rent. It's not even about easing the pressure on a household with 5 children. Drew is working only because the court told him he had to. He's not parenting. He's checking a box. This isn't growth. It isn't effort. It's survival. For him, not for them. And the saddest part, he had a chance to start over. A chance to be a better father. But he chose the easiest route, with the least amount of work. That speaks volumes about his priority. No intention to provide. Here's what hurts even more. Drew is living with 5 children right now. 5 growing, curious, emotional kids who rely on adults for everything. You would think after being forced into finally getting a job, he would feel at least a bit of motivation to help. Maybe buy kids some toys, maybe help Stephanie with school supplies, or at the very least, do something to get the entire family out of the overcrowded, stressful motel room they have been stuck in. But nope, that's not happening. Instead, Drew is sitting back, letting Stephanie carry all the financial weight, while he spends whatever little money he makes on himself. He was caught on live stream with a supposedly old gaming controller for his PS5. But honestly, that's hard to believe. This is the same man who just replaced all 4 tires on his Jetta, has been seen with a newer Apple Watch, and once downloaded a brand new game like it was nothing. All these purchases, none of them necessary, none of them urgent, and definitely none of them for the kids.
I'm fuming right now. The reason why I'm fuming is because Daddy Drew was able to replace four tires from his car. But his babies have been wearing the same clothes since 1992. How does this make sense? What you need to do, Drew, you need to upgrade to a bigger car that'll fit all of your 12 family members. I don't understand why you think it's okay to go and continuously treat yourself. This right here it has to be rage bait. And the fact that he takes us on his journey with him to go to the tire shop and get brand new tires, who has that kind of money to be able to replace 4 tires at the same time? That's like a loan application for most Americans that they have to put in to be able to have that much money, let alone someone who doesn't even have a job. Drew, what is going on? Like, Stephanie Jenkins, why are you treating this man constantly? We know he doesn't work. We know he's not the one paying for it. So why would you rather buy him stuff than buy your kids $20 worth of toys or clothes? Do better.
Meanwhile, Stephanie said she had to save an entire year, 12 months, just to buy one single $20 water gun, and that was for just one child. Let that sink in. She's still struggling to save enough money to take all 5 of them to Urban Air for a shared birthday celebration. One outing for all 5 kids combined. So how does Drew justify this? How does he look his kids in the face, knowing they are wearing worn-out clothes and going nowhere all summer, while he's investing in gadgets and gear for his own comfort? It's not just thoughtless, it's cruel. This isn't about being broke, it's about what you choose to do with what you have. And Drew, he keeps choosing himself every single time, still not taking responsibility. Even worse, Drew didn't just dodge the topic. He flat out admitted it on live stream when someone asked if he would ever consider getting a full-time W-2 job. His answer was blunt and careless. Probably not. No hesitation, no shame, just a cold, casual refusal to do better for his kid. That one sentence tells you everything. He's not just failing as a provider, he's choosing not to be one. He's intentionally avoiding the kind of consistent, stable work that could actually change his children's life. A full-time job could mean health insurance, savings, maybe even permanent home. But Drew doesn't care about any of that. He cares about keeping things easy for himself. Real fathers don't wait for the court to hand them responsibilities. Real fathers don't have to be dragged into doing the bare minimum. And they definitely don't treat their role like a burden. But Drew, he treats the idea of work like a punishment, like something unfair being done to him. This isn't a man trying to break generational cycles or fight for a better future for his kids. This is a man looking for any excuse to avoid responsibility. He's not trying to better himself. He's trying to escape fatherhood entirely, emotionally, financially, and physically. Deliberate sabotage. And when Drew decides to work, he picks the absolute worst times. He doesn't just casually choose to work in the evening. He deliberately chooses night shift, knowing fully well that it means coming home after 10 p.m., sometimes even later. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a repeated pattern, and it's having real effects on the family. Stephanie has shared multiple times that the kids often don't get their dinner until Drew gets back. That means they are waiting to eat while already tired and cranky, all because Drew, fully aware of this, still chooses to go out late. He's not working nights out of necessity. He's working nights out of convenience for himself. And here's the kicker. There is no reason he can't work during the day. He has that option, but he avoids it because working at night gives him an excuse.
I have a question. Brazilian Jenkins, Stephanie Jenkins Thompson, whatever you want to be called. Think about this. Do you realize that when your kids, or y'all's kids, or whatever you guys want to call them, was in school, that man didn't want to lift a finger and didn't work? Now that they're home for summer vacation, he's out doing gig work every night until 10 o'clock at night. Why is that? Why is that? You would think that he would want to be home when his kids are home. I mean, that's why I work from 8:30 to 5, because I want to work a job where I'm home when my kid's home. I mean, in my husband's home. Like, I want to be home when normal people are home. So you would think that's what he would do. Now, I have seen, especially in the last couple months since you guys have been in the motel, hotels, holiday Inn shelter, that he hasn't did any gig work at all. He hasn't worked. You have not said one word about him lifting his finger. But now that your babies are out for summer break, he's doing gig work every night. Every time you post, he's like, Dad's out doing gig work. It's going to be a late night. Dad's out doing gig work. My King Daddy Drew's out doing gig work. How come? Then on Sunday, when he was out doing gig work all night, why couldn't he drop his son off to his mom so that his mom could see his son for the first time in 3 years, and you would have one less kid to worry about? How come? Why couldn't he see his mom if Drew's not even there? I don't understand. I don't get it. I would be furious if he didn't do a damn thing all year long, or especially within the last couple months, because I haven't seen him work since at least October. When y'all went viral, that's the last time I've seen you say anything about him working. Anything at all. So he hasn't worked since October, and now that the kids are out of school, he wants to work and be this incredible dad. Why? Are y'all guys playing a front for them kids too? Like, are you guys telling them kids that dad's working while they're at school, and then he gets off work when they come home? Like, I just don't understand. It don't make no loving sense to me. None at all. None at all. I'm telling you now, if I had 5 kids and my man sat around, did nothing all day long, and then randomly when they were off of school, he disappeared, I'd kick him to the curb real quick. Real quick.
It lets him disappear from the chaos of the motel, from parenting, from noise and mess and responsibility. He's using gig work not to support his family, but to escape them. He's treating DoorDash like a backdoor to freedom. But in doing that, he's leaving Stephanie to manage 5 children alone all day and most of the night. She's stuck with the emotional labor, the physical exhaustion, and the constant juggling, while Drew clocks in, drives around in peace, and comes back only after the hardest parts of parenting are over. It's not just bad timing, it's selfishness wrapped up in a delivery bag, and the ones paying the price are the kids. And then there is Deshawn, Drew's eldest. Court documents made it clear Deshawn is to start reunifying with his biological mother, Desiree. But Drew is blocking it. He says Deshawn doesn't want to go, that it's Deshawn's choice. But Deshawn is a child, a young boy who is still developing emotionally and mentally. He's not legally or emotionally equipped to make such complex, life-changing decisions all on his own. And that's exactly why the court stepped in. The court made it clear Drew was not just expected, but legally obligated to support and facilitate Deshawn's reunification with his biological mother, Desiree. Not delay it, not deflect it, and definitely not block it. But Drew's excuse? He brought up his own past, saying that when he was 10 years old, he was told to choose between his parents after their divorce, and he chose to live with his dad. So now he believes Deshawn should have the same freedom to choose. But let's be real, this situation isn't about Drew. This isn't a mirror of his past. It's about what's best for Deshawn right now, in the present. His needs, his growth, his right to know his mother. And the way Drew tried to justify his actions, he compared Deshawn going to see his mom to a child refusing to go to the grocery store. He really said it like that. Like this was about picking between going to see your mom or staying home from a quick errand, comparing a court-ordered reunification, something tied to deep emotional healing, legal guidance, and long-term development, to going to the store for snacks is completely out of touch. It's not just ridiculous, it's disrespectful to Deshawn, to Desiree, and the seriousness of the court's order. This isn't about carrots or cereal. It's about Deshawn's right to build a relationship with his mother. And Drew should be helping make that happen, not standing in the way of it. Alienation in plain sight. What Drew is doing is called parental alienation. It's not just subtle, it's calculated. He's shaping Deshawn's view of his mother, slowly planting the seed that she's not someone worth loving, knowing, or even remembering. It's a slow drip of emotional conditioning, not some accidental misstep. But rather than owning up to what he's doing, Drew hides behind the excuse of, Deshawn made the decision, as if a child's word is all that's needed to cancel a legal, emotional, and moral responsibility. But this isn't parenting. This is emotional manipulation disguised as protection. A real parent doesn't feed into a child's fear or confusion. They help them through it. They guide them toward understanding, healing, and reconnection. And the court knew this would be hard. That's why they suggested something essential: a reunification therapist, a trained professional who could ease the transition, support Deshawn's emotions, and help bridge the gap between him and his mother. But Drew, he didn't even try. Not a phone call, not a consultation, not a single step forward. It's not like the resources were unavailable. It's that Drew made no attempt to look. No effort, no interest, just roadblocks and excuses. He's created a wall around Deshawn, convincing him it's for protection. But in reality, it's isolation. Not just from Desiree, but from a part of Deshawn's identity he deserves to know. And the saddest part, if Drew genuinely cared about Deshawn's emotional health, he would recognize how critical this moment is. He would rise above his own bitterness, above his past experiences, and make space for healing. But he's doing the opposite. He's using control to mask insecurity. He's shutting doors instead of opening them. And here's the twist that may change everything. By refusing to follow the court's reunification order, Drew is making Desiree's custody fight stronger by the day. Each time he delays, avoids, or deflects, he shows the judge that he isn't acting in Deshawn's best interest. He's acting in defense of his own ego. And when time comes, that might cost him more than custody. It might cost him the trust of his child forever.
So I kind of redacted the receipt from me paying for the attorney for the consultation for Friday. I wanted to put that up. I also still do intend to put out the amounts that people donated to the Venmo and PayPal, but I can't figure like a good way to print out like a summary. It's really weird. I've never had to do that before, probably because I've never been in this position before, but I just want like the information about like the name that I can redact and then like the date and amount, and then I can't figure out a way to get that information, but I'll figure it out. I'm just really under a lot of deadlines right now because I've been putting so much time into procrastinating and then also helping Desiree. Anyway, so there's a ton of data about parental alienation, and the data, I mean, I just looked for like 2 seconds, you guys, and there's data like this one's going back to 1991, and this study says in most divorce cases where there is animosity and conflict between the parents, there is some degree of brainwashing and programming of children. So, I mean, this is not a new thing. This actually says parental alienation syndrome, the acronym is PAS, was coined by Richard Gardner in 1987. So, that means it was also probably well understood prior to that. So why do we not, and I already talked about why we don't let children who are 9 make decisions, because their prefrontal cortex is not even close to being fully developed, and they just don't have the ability to make complex decisions with a lot of different factors involved. Why do we continue to push children like that into the other parent's home or visits or whatever if they're saying they don't want to? That sounds traumatic and terrible. And a lot of people who are speaking out against this idea had this happen to them as children and saying it was very traumatic and terrible. I'm sure. I don't doubt that. This can be done really in a terrible way. Both parents have to be on board for reunification therapy. And so I just, unless we get it court ordered, and even then, honestly, I don't think it's worth the effort. I think we just need to move forward. So what I did is find a large group of BIPOC therapists in Portland who do family systems therapy, kind of gave them a little brief synopsis and asked if that's something their therapist could manage. And they said yes. And I asked how long of a wait they're backed up, and they said about 2 weeks. I think the rate was like $237 an hour, but they also take different insurances. So we'll just have to cross that bridge when we get to it, because I'm sure he's Oregon Health Plan builder. So why do we continue to push these children?
Drew Jenkins isn't just failing as a co-parent, he's failing as a father. From child support evasion to blocking reunification to wasting money while living in poverty, Drew's track record is full of red flags. He doesn't work to provide, he doesn't guide his kids, he doesn't prioritize their well-being. And it's not about Deshawn. All 5 children in that motel are growing up watching this. They are watching a father who won't try, who won't sacrifice, who won't change. At some point, we have to stop calling it irresponsibility and start calling it what it is: neglect. What do you think? Is Drew even fit to be a father? Should Deshawn be allowed to stay in that environment? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding story.